And we hope so too. We are getting close to flipping the switch for digital.
And in these final few moments, our general manager Jim Ogle joins us to bid farewell to analog.
And now it comes to this, our final 2 minutes on the air. We're here in the master control facility at WIBW because this is the last place where we process the signal before sending it to the transmitter and to your homes. Now, one of our staff members calculated that since we went on the air at 12:45 p.m. on November 15th, 1953, we've been on the air 20,182 days, or 484,373 hours, more than 29 million minutes, or 1.7 billion seconds. While those numbers are impressive in their own right, what's even more impressive are the people who made it happen. Now, on this wall, which we use to show a little bit about our WIBW history to tours that come to the station, are pictures of many of the people who made all that time on air possible. So many people who gave so much that we say thank you to all the WIBW alum. They built the heritage of the finest news, community service, sports, and other entertainment. We work hard today to live up to their examples and results. As we end more than 5 decades of analog broadcasts, we want to thank you for watching us. We want to promise you our best, and we also want to work hard to make you proud of Kansas and WIBW. Years ago, when Walter Cronkite would sign off the CBS Evening News, he had a unique way of doing it, and I'd like to borrow it for tonight. And that's the way it is, Monday, February 16, 2009, the last day WIBW broadcasts on Old Analog 13. And as Edward R. Murrow would end his broadcast, all of us here at WIBW would like to wish you good night and good luck.
The year was 1952, and some big changes were in the air and coming on the air. General Dwight Eisenhower announced his bid for the White House in Abilene. It was also the year the freeze had been lifted to apply for licenses for new TV stations. The late Kansas Senator Arthur Capper, who was head of Capper Publications, wasn't around to see this tower go up in 1952, but his company was about to go into the television business, creating a TV signal covering Topeka and Abilene and beyond. Capper Publications would call its new TV station WIBW-TV. For 48 of our 50 years on the air, this was our home, the old Security Benefit Schoolhouse. The infant Channel 13 went on the air November 15th of 1953 at 12:45 in the afternoon. We could pick any program from any of the 4 networks on the air, but right from the start always wanted to be a CBS affiliate. We wanted to share William Paley's network with Northeast Kansas, as radio stars like Jack Benny became TV stars virtually overnight. But CBS considered Channel 13 a fledgling stepchild that wasn't as important as the major stations in Kansas City. Our Saturday morning mascot, Gregory the Gremlin, shook his head and tried to get Topekans to turn their antennas our way.
Don't be a channel hopper. The best programs are right here. This is Channel 13, WIBW-TV, Capper Publications, Topeka, Kansas.
How could WIBW-TV get Topekans to watch the local station with an ingenious antenna that also picked up signals from the west?
And what it did, you put it up and it would pick up the Kansas City stations, but on the back side it would pick up Channel 13. So that's the way they got viewership started for the station. I mean, you could still have Kansas City, but you could also watch 13, watch local news, things like that.
The station, owned since 1957 by publisher Oscar Stauffer and his sons John and Stan, brought in a real bulldog for their battle with CBS. His name was Thad Sandstrom. When CBS wouldn't let Channel 13 carry Gunsmoke, Thad came on the air to ask viewers to write letters so he could dump them right in the sponsor's lap.
And he said, you know, the CBS won't let us have it because they don't think we're important enough here in Topeka. They don't think we sell enough Lincoln Mercury cars.
And Thad Sandstrom took the train to Chicago and went into the affiliates representation at CBS and dumped all the letters on his desk.
Jerry Holly recalls that battle with Lincoln Mercury to be over the Ed Sullivan Show. Either way, Thad got both those shows on the air on Channel 13, and those national advertising dollars rolling in to help us build our Topeka viewership.
Everybody, here's the news picture tonight.
In 1954, we opened Kansans' eyes to the CBS Evening News with Douglas Edwards.
Good evening. This is See It Now.
And Edward R. Murrow's documentaries that ended the political career of Senator Joe McCarthy. A major national story was happening right in our own backyard, the Brown versus Topeka Board of Education ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court. But a Friday afternoon in November of 1963 showed us what CBS News was made of. It began when Walter Cronkite interrupted this episode of As the World Turns.
Here is a bulletin from CBS News. President Kennedy shot today just as his motorcade left downtown Dallas. We just have a report from our correspondent Dan Rather in Dallas that he has confirmed that President Kennedy is dead. From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
During the term of President Johnson, 13 News started to save the 16-millimeter film of the major news stories of Northeast Kansas. In the summer of '65, what was back then the new Kansas Avenue Bridge twisted and tumbled into the Kansas River in an unbelievable scene of destruction. Scenes that were all filmed on Bell and Howell film cameras, and there was live coverage too. We took our studio cameras right to the edge of the riverbank and showed it live with a microwave dish beaming back to the station. On a warm June Saturday night in 1978, our 13 News videotape crews were on the scene at Pomona Lake. This ferry boat, the Whippoorwill, had capsized in a tornado. 17 people died that night. It was one of the worst disasters the news team had ever covered.
People watching television at home or listening to their car radios began to run for shelter. It was 7 o'clock.
As Channel 13 turned 13, it would cover what remains today one of its biggest stories ever, the June 1966 tornado, 11 months after the bridge collapse, that turned a 26-year-old Washburn Law School student into a local television legend.